What's up, guys? It's your boy Vince Ryder, and welcome to my review for Wish Dragon that I just watched. And I basically keep seeing many people review it before me, so I'm late as usual. But this movie here, my goodness, it's not bad. I feel like there is parts of the movie where it was like, okay, this is probably recorded via Zoom or something. I could definitely tell, especially with the voice of Din's friend, which for some reason we didn't get a lot of detail of. For some reason, he's just a friend, but actually he's not very like at all present or even there at the most part. So he's kind of like an acquaintance almost. It feels like, but yeah, kind of you listen to where like if you've seen the movie you can hear that he was recorded via Zoom, which I noticed. But other than that, the whole movie was good. There was some moments where I'm like, gosh, you're going there because I do know for the kind of aspects of predictions that this movie bring and stuff that is kind of very hits close to home when it comes down to just the just how of course this movie is set in China, and I remember seeing the majority of the of the aspects of the characters, and I'm like, man, that's really Asian because it goes into this. It would be different if I seen this movie if it was like if I was a kid. I would probably laugh at most of the jokes, and I probably, of course, as any other kid, pretty much would actually be somewhat astounded about how this is so comparable to Aladdin. I don't know. That's definitely not what a kid thinks. I don't even know. But I do know that I really kind of enjoy the message of this movie. There was some couple of stuff that I could, nitpick, and I feel like it could be, a bit more work and erased and stuff that didn't really make sense. Like I remember the dragon was pretty much supposed to be like giving like a certain amount of wishes. I feel like there was sort of a cheat in the movie, especially in that scene when they were, pretty much Din and the dragon were trying to get inside the party, and Din was like, sort of going overload with the wishes. Like, yep, a suit, a this and that. And I know there's like a 24-hour kind of thing that, he wished for, or some kind of wish that gives him unlimited wishes for that certain amount of wish. And for some reason, they hold, the dragon hold on to that one wish, like, hey, you have one wish left. And I'm like, wait, didn't he already use that? At this point, he's using at least 10 more wishes at this point. Like, you're just making it easier for him, okay? And it's definitely expected, but we're supposed to be like, at least for me, I'm supposed to know that, there's at least a little bit of logic, especially when it comes down. And I get how this is like, most animations or everything, but other than that, I just don't know what it is that about what is, yeah, my goodness, what is about this movie that makes me, sort of like cringe in most parts, because it's sort of this movie that in some cases almost relates to me, because I see how the movie definitely talks about that aspect of being realistic and how money is sort of like how you basically deal with life. And I'm watching this as I'm going through that right now, which is something I'm not really going to go into. But financially, this movie kind of just, I see it for that aspect, at least, when it comes down to, being Asian. I know that there is messages that in this movie that is very valuable, especially when it comes to family, especially when it comes to telling the truth. And that kind of hits home, especially when it's sort of like a message. It's almost like this movie is this one person that is basically trying to have a sit down with me and say, listen, Vince, I gotta talk to you. I know what's bothering you, but you gotta be honest. And I know that movie, that aspect of movie kind of really almost get me, especially now as I'm thinking about it. But man, it's just like, I see Din as I see myself almost. And I guess that's something about this movie that I like. Yes, it's not perfect, but I think that's what I like about, the movie. His charms is perfect, and especially the scenes where, at least for me personally, I was kind of like having a difficult time trying to get past through because of just how, some of the moments are just cringe because it's just so true. And it's just like it's not really perfect in its any way, especially when it comes to some of the stuff that didn't really make sense. Where did the villains came from? Why is there one of their villains like is pretty much a short dude? And what is up with, the parade thing? Where this homeless person came from? This god that decided to actually be a homeless person and actually give Din the pot. And yeah, it's just showing that. And I guess there is this part, a world, at least in this world and that takes in China, that I guess it comes down to this, like what's realistic and what's not. And would you choose glamour over choosing, I don't know. It's almost like this movie is sort of is coming to me at a better time because I kind of look at both ways, and somehow it plays a big role in my life, especially now as I'm thinking about my past. For example, in college, I used to be an accountant, and I pretty much wanted to be accountant because it has more money and also more jobs require you to be accountant. But then it was miserable. It was so bad. It was, and let me tell you, pretty much I fail. I know in the movie, we see Din's girlfriend, God, I forget her name, but, happens to be like, everything, have all the riches and all that, but it didn't make her happy. And she has to pretty much put on this fake smile. And I guess when it comes down to both lifestyles, there's no perfect lifestyle. It's almost like whatever life you have or whatever you're used to or something like that is the best one you can have right now. And I guess that's what is the message of the movie, at least from what I take from it. Because it's like, like here I am pretty much still living with my parents, the same as Din. And that's what I mean about being relatable. And also like how especially how family heavy it is, which is same thing as me. Look, I know that I'm Asian. Pretty much this movie centers around, many Asians as well, because it kind of just shows that. It shows that aspect of it. And I also like how the movie really is not really taking easy punches when it comes down to that. I know it's PG and it's pretty much have a lot of dark and humor, which I really adore about the movie, the chicken joke and also the other jokes, especially the scenes where it's like, oh, okay, they went there. It's like, oh, this happened. And it seems like this movie is sort of like is centered for almost at least in a way speaking to me the same way that Dragon is speaking to Din. I don't know what is so personal about this movie. I don't know why I'm talking about this movie as if it's like a ghost, like it's speaking to me, it's an angel speak. Oh, God is hailing me with this movie. It's a prophecy. It's I kind of at this point to me sound like I'm saying all that nonsense, and here I am already saying that. But it's just like this happens to be one of my favorite movies right now at this point. I mean, Raya the Last Dragon was cool, another dragon movie pretty much. And I didn't feel nothing for it because of course it's fantasy, and I know there's some sense of family, and also there's some many good parts of it, but it just I don't know what it is. And I think there was like other stuff as well, especially Invincible kind of touched me in a certain spot, especially when it comes down to familyhood, father and son thing. And that was really relatable. I mean, not realistic at all. Let me tell you. I feel like the movie Invincible or the show Invincible pretty much would be kind of a little gruesome, honestly, to be too realistic, and that I probably wouldn't be here. But you know what I mean. It's just that this movie, it really is speaking to me in a certain like as a person as I see this movie, it's kind of like it's really real. Now there was this scene, of course, that made me really think like how I felt for Din and how I kind of felt like he deserves better, because there was this scene that Din was basically on a and this was in the beginnings of the movie, that he was just on the roof trying to do a pretend date of his friend that happens to be rich, which is actually kind of interesting in itself, like, oh, the kind of friend that Din had is rich. And basically she's rich and pretty much on the billboard and is known to be a celebrity out there, I think, or a model. And then it's just having this pretend date, but it didn't go perfectly, as his whole dress is pretty much messed up at the point when he was trying to make it perfect because he got this cheap tuxedo or something. And he was just trying to pretend, or basically just have these certain like fantasies that he tries to have, that so he can feel like it's real. I tend to have that when it comes down to me knowing, especially back then, like, oh man, me pretending to actually seeing someone and they see me and I do some dance moves and I create my own world surrounding that. I don't know. I try not to make it cringy because it's really cringy trying to explain it and thinking about it. It's just like, why did I share it? But it's that deep kind of senses that this movie kind of almost really pulls the strings of that. And that's what I got from it because this movie itself is just, I don't know. I just love how it's just a message and it's really just speaking from somebody that is sort of like almost like me in a way, at least the way I really think about it. And I just couldn't really give anything better than other than especially how I really didn't really think like, okay, this movie has some flaws. It has some parts where I'm just like, that doesn't make sense at all. Like, why is this like, come on, that logically, especially the dragon in the party, he would definitely get caught, with whatever, like, pretty much different parts of his face turn it back to a dragon, from a human, or different aspects of just like how, certain, especially how they talk and also, but then again, it's the animation, but also it's like there's a couple of errors in terms of speech and also from the dialogue. I guess it comes with the territory. From what I heard, at least from what I seen in the credits, or I mean, no, in the intro with how it's from Tencent. I'm guessing this movie's from China. Could be wrong itself. And it just put like so it's basically a dub. I'm guessing so that could be what it is, and I could actually give it much more lighter time, and also not only that because I just love the movie. Yeah, I'm just gonna say I really adored the like just of course I can go on about the message, but it's like it's almost like it's catered to my demographic in a way, adult Asians that happens to basically live in America and live in the expectations of many adults and many people. The expectations is always something that is catered within, that is always drilled down in many Asians, as especially probably anyone else, but mostly Asians that I especially keep hearing. I remember in one of the podcasts that David So put, he talks about this, and he's Korean, and he said, like, yeah, the expectations that you have to have a good job, you have to have a good wife and stuff, and it pretty much brings that down, especially with the dragon talking about like many generations that they had that. So it's speaking to me in that sense because I tend to really expect like, to actually, sort of like have a family or have this perfect life, even though and as time moves on and as reality really hits in a personal way, especially here in America, where I basically, to be honest, I just don't know how that's possible. I don't know how it's really possible, especially me really trying to grow YouTube. And no matter how hard I work, I don't know how I would meet the expectations of me having a mansion or a house or even just a simple apartment or even like stuff like this. And that's what the movie really almost like, I guess, gets me teary eyed because it's just like, life is just not perfect in that sense. And no matter how you meet it, how is it ever going to be? Because the only thing that really matters more than that is family. And that's what I took for the movie. And it's like, that's really what it spoke to me. And that's why I really like this movie, honestly, so much. Other than that, thank you guys for watching. Hope you subscribe, like, comment, all that jazz and all that goodness. Definitely check it out. It's on Netflix. It's not perfect, but you know what? It doesn't need to be because I just witnessed one of my favorites at this moment right now because it just really, it's just perfect. It's just perfect the way it is to me in this movie. I guess I'm just praising it the way I'm just praising it because I haven't seen a movie in a while that really sort of showcases my lifestyle in real life. Out of all the things that I try to hide, this movie kind of, if you watch the movie, this is definitely something that is going on in my life, honestly. Especially in Din. And I kind of see myself a lot through Din. Take away, the fact that they're in China and pretty much imagine they're in US, and pretty much in the USA, and also take away from the girlfriend, because I never actually met a girl that happens to really be, 10 times rich or anything like that, and also enemies, and put it in a more realistic standard, and also the dragon, and then you see me. And I guess that's the way I kind of see it at the moment as I'm recording this, but that's just my opinion, and that's my review. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.